You'll like her when she's angry. Let's talk about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And this is another part of MCU's Phase 4, as it is about Jennifer Walters, an attorney, who specializes in superhuman-oriented legal cases. Must navigate the complicated life of being single, who also happens to be a green 6'7" Hulk. And this was one that took the internet by storm. There was a lot of people complaining about this, like, oh, how could Marvel do this? How could Marvel make this? But I got to say, this was a fun series. And out of all the Marvel projects we've gotten, this felt more faithful to the comics. And I really enjoyed that. But with the cast in this, the cast did great. Tatiana Maslany played Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, and she was definitely a standout in this. It was just fun exploring her as she is breaking the fourth wall, and it was just super entertaining. Her as Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, was just entertaining to watch because she was funny in this. And then, of course, there are those Hulk moments. But also with this, we do see Mark Ruffalo come back as Bruce Banner the Hulk. And Jennifer Walters and Bruce Banner, they are cousins. They're cousins in the comics, they're cousins in this. And it was fun to see them have that cousin dynamic in this. There were some fun moments between them with him training her and all that. I would have loved to see more of him in this, but at the same time, this is a She-Hulk series and it focused on her, and it was very entertaining. But also with this series, we have Ginger Gazaga and Josh Segarra. They were Jen Walters' co-workers, they were her friends, and they were just fun additions to this. There was just some more fun moments with those characters. But returning to the MCU after so many years and a brief cameo in Shang-Chi, we have Tim Roth as the Abomination, Emil Blonsky, and it was just fun to see how the character is after all these years. And Tim Roth, there are times where he stole the show as the character. Like what they did with him was unexpected but yet super fun. But also returning to the MCU was Benedict Wong's Wong. And it was just fun to see him in this, and he had great dynamics with Tim Roth's Emil. But another return in this, and was probably one of the best episodes in this series, was Charlie Cox's return as Matt Murdock, Daredevil. We see Daredevil in the classic yellow and red suit, and it was just amazing to see him moving around more acrobatic. Then again, they had more of a budget compared to the Netflix series. And it was just so much fun to see him in this series, to see him alongside Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. As I do got to say, the two of them had amazing dynamics and amazing chemistry. Out of all of the love interests that we have seen Matt Murdock have in the MCU, I got to say his dynamic, his chemistry with Jennifer Walters was the best so far. Charlie and Tatiana, they just worked great together. And one way to describe this series is that it is a superhero legal comedy. And it was a fun one in the MCU for sure. Because like I mentioned, this did feel like more comic accurate compared to other comic book projects we gotten in the MCU. And I have seen writers for the She-Hulk comic series talk about how this felt more faithful to their comics. So this was one that was definitely going to be much different compared to everything else. And to those who have read She-Hulk comics, kind of knew what to expect with this. And that's what I loved about this. I loved how comic booky it felt, but at the same time just had the humor in it, but yet the character moments with Jen Walters herself, those moments were just outstanding. And of course several nods to the Incredible Hulk movie that many people forgotten about pretty much. My favorite episode in this was of course the Daredevil episode, because it was like a perfect reintroduction to the Daredevil character in the MCU, even though we got Matt Murdock in No Way Home. As with how the character was in that, kind of reminded me of the Mark Waid's Daredevil run. Like, I do got to admit with this, it did feel like it expanded the MCU in big ways that are unknown because of the characters that appear in this. So I thought that was pretty cool. And with this, with how the finale was, it was definitely one that stood out as he is breaking the fourth wall, entering Marvel Studios. And there is a comic I've seen online where she breaks through the panel to confront the writers in the comic. I will say, of course, this series isn't perfect as it does have several flaws. There are some parts where the CGI really wasn't the best, but like in the close-ups of her in her She-Hulk form, it looked really good. But just some instances where she's walking across the frame, it didn't look the best. And while I did like the finale, I do think it probably could have done a bit more too, but at the same time, I thought it was a pretty good finale for the most part. But with how this series is and what it introduced, I really enjoyed it. It was so different compared to a lot of the other Marvel projects, but yet at the same time super faithful to the comics. And I know this gets a lot of negative reviews, and I can understand why people may not like it. And after this, I want to see more of She-Hulk. I want to see more of Tatiana as Jen Walters' She-Hulk. And I do want to see her cross over with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Just the two of them having like a breaking the fourth wall battle. That would be super cool. Overall, with She-Hulk Attorney at Law, it was a fun addition to the MCU. While it may not be for everyone, it was one that I did enjoy, as it is like a superhero legal comedy with its sick flick moments. But yet, it was super entertaining, super hilarious, and it felt like a breath of fresh air in the MCU. But have you seen She-Hulk Attorney at Law? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below and follow me for more.